Welcome to another episode. Bit of a catch up after Donington. We had semi-successful, as far as this season's going, day. Basically, qualifying went really well, and then we got to the final, turned the boost up. I managed to resist all day, leaving it in low boost mode, sort of low boost, sort of 1.9 bar. Got to the final, cranked it up, boost pipe come off, this one. So, yeah, fantastic. Everything else though, gearbox spot on. Couple of things that I've been monitoring. Turbo oil return pipe that I'm going to cover today. We're going to swap that out. I'm not happy with it. I'll explain in a minute. But the main thing is this boost pipe and what I'm doing with it. Yeah. As we got to the final, I'll put some clips in the video. I turned the boost up to the top sort of power level, 2.5 bar, and coming down we had a good lap. Looking over the logs, I was targeting 2.5 bar, I was only achieving 2.1, so it looks like we had a boost leak. And then lo and behold, coming down the final straight, just before the chicane at Donny, I'll put it in the screen. Boost pipe came off, lost all power. Fantastic. So what I think's happened is the day before, 2 days before, we got it loaded on the trailer and stuff, I came in and nipped up all of these boost pipes because they are Jubilee clips, T-bolt clamps, whatever. They go through heat cycles, they slacken off. So I'd been in and nipped this 10mm bolt up here, and I managed to get about 15 or 20 turns on this bolt, and I thought it was strange at the time, but obviously what's happened is it's actually slipped off, come like half on, half off like this, and that's how I've managed to get the 15 to 20 turns on this clamp. So what's happened is, as we've been going through the day, it's actually been coming off, and these hoses are really good. So this shouldn't have happened, obviously, if I'd had it clamped on properly. So what we're doing moving on from here, loads of people have said to me Wiggins, and I didn't even know what Wiggins were, but we actually use them at work. I didn't know this, but we use the Wiggins connectors, and I'll put a picture of it in the screen now, but we use the Wiggins connectors on aircraft. So I mean, it's good enough for an aircraft, it's good enough for this. So what I've done is I actually ordered 2-inch, the turbo outlet, if we get underneath here, if you remember, the turbo, zoom out a bit, the turbo outlet is there, and that's 2-inch. So the elbow comes off the bottom of here, goes along, and then meets up with the rest of the pipework. So what we're going to do, what I'd originally thought is, I'll order a 2-inch piece of boost pipe. It'll cut down, and then I'll get a step up piece to go from 51mm to 63mm to meet the 2.5-inch boost pipe work. I went and got it from Demotrix the other day, a Revotech item, and I'll grab it for you now and show you, but I wasn't happy with it. It was like said it was 1.5mm thick wall, and it wasn't. It's like 1.2mm, and it's just, I think it's gonna crack when it's welded. But I've ordered another one, which I'll put in the screen now, and it's a cast elbow from IK Engineering, and it's actually 2-inch going to a 2.5-inch, and it's cast with probably 4 or 5mm thick wall. So it'll be easier for Ben's actually welding this for me, Ben Gilbert at Turn 12, but the guy that did my fuel surge pot. But yeah, he with them being the same thickness of material, it'll be easier for him to weld. So we're going to cut this off here, off the compressor, weld the ferrule on for the Wiggins connector, weld the other side of the ferrule, with the O-ring on the elbow, on the cast elbow, and then the other side of the cast elbow to the original bit of boost pipe, which is up here, of course. So it's basically just going to replicate that. And then another thing that we've added, I'll go grab that reducer in a minute and show you, but we've got a bung here that I put in originally to monitor intake temps pre-intercooler, just to see how efficient the intercooler is. I've actually ordered a K-type thermocouple and a little digital screen readout, so we're going to be fitting that as well, just to monitor because I've run out of inputs to the ECU and the dash, so just to monitor intake temps pre-intercooler. Yeah, that's about it. Let me go grab this other bit and show you. Into the shed of goodies. Here it is. So all I was worried about was it's a bit too like flexible, can you see? And the thickness of the wall might be okay here, but that side it was a lot thinner. So we shall be using that. I'll be sitting back up there next to my little PC pen holder. Yeah, the other bit of pipe somewhere in here, you know, the other elbow 2-inch one, but that's irrelevant now because we're not using that. So the other thing that I just mentioned was, can you remember we made this compression fitting up for the turbo oil return? Now I've been monitoring this because obviously I don't want a replica of Cadwell Park, you know, the fire. So this used to have this like fire sleeving sort of stuff on it, and I've noticed at Donington, well, at all the events since Cadwell, this has been getting like a bit of a wet film of grease oil on it. I've sprayed it out with a bit of brake cleaner now, but you can see on my finger there. So this was soaked. As I've just pulled it off, it's just ringed out all over the floor, oil. So we're leaking from somewhere. I've taken this off the bottom of the turbo. This wasn't leaking. The connection, obviously, which screws onto that, wasn't leaking. So all that leaves me to believe is we've got little micro cracks going on, smashing the place up. Let me zoom in, I'll show you proper zoom in. Where that bend is there, you can see it's quite harsh. I did it with the spring, but there's obviously little micro cracks or fractures going on, and you can see it's like caught in oil. So I don't want to run the risk. I don't want to have this split on me again, do you know, and then we'll have a fire. Obviously I don't want a fire. So just next to that pipe, closer proximity to the headers, I know I've got my Akisump feed pipe, and it's the same stuff as this, just rubber nitrile pipe with braided, you know, overbraid and then a nylon overbraid. So what we're going to be doing is, I bought this ages ago. I just had it in the toolbox, you know. I remember as a spare in case this split at an event. So all we're going to be doing is just fitting those fittings, same, you know, as any other fuel fitting or whatever. Fitting those and fire sleeve on. I'll probably order some new stuff because that's got oil on it, and then we'll be fitting that back on the car. So yeah, I'll bang the camera down and we'll do that. So yeah, you've probably seen me do this a few times before, but I'm just going to put a bit of tape on the actual pipe itself and then bang it in the vise. I just put this on just so that you can see where if the connection moves, you know, from the end. And then normally I just put a bit of cloth or something in the oh, I've obviously cut my finger there. Bit of tissue will do the job. So just bang that down into the vise, just so it doesn't mark up all the alloys, you know, the actual thing. Then I spray a little bit of Dub D onto the rubber and onto the threads, and then a little bit onto the same on there, just so it doesn't grab the, you know, the inside and the actual rubber. And then just fish that into the middle. There we go, into the rubber. Helps it seat a little bit as well, putting that WD on. Do you know, into that end of that fitting into the actual rubber part. Yeah, then just tighten it up. I think it's a 24. Is it 24? Yeah. So I'm just going to put one end on for now. No, it's even bigger. Oh, have we even got a big enough one? Spanner? Yeah. So I've got a bigger adjustable spanner in that toolbox somewhere. But yeah, I just go until, not all the way till it's touching, just maybe just leave like, I don't know, a few thou, do you know, well not a few thou, maybe a millimetre, do you know, of gap in between this piece and this piece. So I'm gonna fit this on just the one end, I was saying then, onto this fitting now. Put the fire sleeve on, if it's not completely soaked in oil. There we go. So yeah, I'll just leave a little bit, just a little bit of a gap, you know. You'll feel as you're doing it anyway, and then just make sure I put the tape there so that this doesn't shift back. You know what I mean. So yeah, that's that bit done. So we can get the actual, that fitting on the end now. The spout that goes into the bottom of the turbo, I've just given that a little clean off. So that can go. It won't harm putting a little bit of oil on that cutter face as well. Well, not the cutter, but you know, onto that, onto that surface there. And then yeah, nip that up. Obviously, when we was doing it on this fitting, the position of this was quite critical, do you know, because of the shape of this. But obviously now this is completely flexible, so it doesn't actually matter where we tighten this up. So yeah, you can just put this in the vise and then nip this up. You can see that as well, what I was talking about, where I've put the tape. It hasn't actually moved at all, which is good. That's what we want. Let's bang that in the vise. And then I believe this is a 24. Just done the same thing again. No, it's not. Okay, no. Must be imagining things. So I normally go finger tight. So finger tight like that, and then I go 1.5 of these faces back around. So if we go, that'd be 1, and then I go about another half. And that's it. And I've nicely marred it, but we can't see it, so it doesn't matter. It's going up in the bottom of the turbo. So yeah, fire sleeve on there now. I've just put some taper on that end, so when we push it through the fire sleeve, you don't get any shit in it. And then we can go and get it fitted back on the car and measure the length that we need to cut this side to. So I've just proper sprayed that, you know, all the fiberglass with loads of brake cleaner and wrung it all out, and then just sleeved it back on top there. It is actually a little bit, it's interesting to know, but it's a little bit too small. This is not actually AN 12 or whatever size this is, AN 10 maybe. It's not actually for this pipe, it's for hardline pipe, but interestingly enough it does actually fit over it. So that's why I say I was going to order some of the correct size stuff, but that fits fine, so we'll be using that. So now I'll just go measure it, get it cut, and then we'll come back and put the other end on. So I've just been to the car, tried to get the video under there, but it won't fit. I'll reposition it better in a minute when we're putting this on, but I've marked it and cut it terribly, but it is cut. Try and tuck as much of the nylon. The important part is the steel part, but it's best to try and tuck as much of that nylon in, or cut it off, do you know, as best you can. There we go. So all the nylon's in, and it goes, I don't think you can see that, unless, I don't think you can see in there. Oh yeah, you can. The rubber just touches up to the bottom of the threads there. So again, bit of dub D on, bit of tape on the bit of tape on there, just dead tight up to the alloy fitting so you can see if it moves. Tissue in the vise, tissue covered in blood, nice. And WD on there. Here we go again. I went in nice and easy. And then nip it up again. And we can go and get it fitted on the car. Whip that tape off, and we're going to get it fitted. I don't know if you can see, but I've just put a bit of grey RTV on there. Trying not to get it everywhere. It's kind of difficult for me to get in and film, but I've bolted that back up there. You can just see the gasket seal squeezed out the side, so we've got a seal there. As you can see, it is very tight. So next thing, we just need to put this side, the other end, back onto the sump. And then we can go ahead and mock up this bit of boost pipe, do you know, with the taking the compressor housing off. There we go, we've got it all on. It's a tiny bit short, the insulation on that bit there, but the important bit, which is through that tunnel there, is covered, and it's not touching, all importantly, any of the headers like it was before. Do you know when we had the fire at Cadwell? So yeah, hopefully I sorted that little leak. Real quick little Brucey bonus on the end here. A lot of people have been wondering and asking gearbox oil temperatures and also just general engine health. So I've got here in the top table, green is the gearbox oil temperature, red, well you can see it, red engine oil temperature, EGTs is exhaust gas temperatures, ECTs is engine coolant temperatures, and ACT is air charge temperature, so intake air temps. So peak numbers wise, on the gearbox oil temps, we're looking at 71, 72 degrees. Obviously, this is after the cooler, but it's just good to know the temperature's being fed into the bearings and gears is 73 degrees. That's perfect. Next one up, exhaust gas temperatures. We're peaking sort of around the 840 mark, I believe, here, which again, that's within the window, do you know, like that's perfectly reasonable. Air charge temperatures peaking sort of 43 degrees there, 44 nearly, which that's obviously not a full boost because we had a leak. I'll show you that in a minute. We'll move on to the next one, which is engine oil temperature, which we're peaking sort of no more than 110 throughout the day, so 100 and 108, 109 are we seeing there, which are spot on as well. And finally, the big one, engine coolant temperature, 94 degrees. This is a big one, as I say, because the turbo is front mounted and you'd expect the coolant to be an issue, you know, engine cooling to be an issue, and it hasn't been so far. It's been fantastic. So I'm really pleased with that. Briefly, the bottom one here is engine oil pressure. It looks a bit scatty, but when you zoom in, obviously this is across quite a few laps. So when you zoom in, it's much more flat. I'll show you in a minute. But I just wanted to touch on real briefly. This is the point that you've seen in the video earlier. This is the point where we lost the boost pipe. So we've been coming 4th, 5th, 6th gear on that straight before the chicane, and this is obviously we've lost all boost. So one thing to note is I was only making, this is manifold absolute pressure, so we take a bar off that for the atmosphere. I was only making 1.8 bar, so we had an issue, we had a leak anyway, and I'll just I shall just add channel, add the wastegate map target value in there, just so you can see what we were targeting at that given point. And I'll also add channel, add cal switch, so you can see also what calibration I'm in. So here we're in cal 3, as you can see, cal switch 3. Then we've pressed the button on the steering wheel, which has then defaulted us into cal 1, as I've explained before. And cal 1 is then targeting progressively up to around the 2.5 bar of boost. But we're only achieving, say that given area there, we're targeting 2.5 bar, but we're actually achieving, if we look over here, we're targeting 2.5 bar, we're achieving 1.86 bar. So there's an issue, obviously. Same in the next gear. And if we add on this bottom one here, channel, add gear, just so you can see what gear we're in. So we're in, as I said, 4th, 5th and 6th gear. As we're coming into 6th gear there, we're making 0.2 bar and we're targeting 2.2 bar. So yeah, this was then me trying to go through the through the start finish line carrying as much speed as I can, but we were making no boosts. Yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to touch on, just to show you mainly temperatures, engine temperatures. So, but obviously, and this little bit here. Real quickly, I'll just go back into earlier on in the lap. We were progressively losing boost as earlier in the lap, we were actually making higher levels. We were making sort of 2.2 bar there. And then towards the end, as I say, we're losing boost, only making 1.8 bar. So we had, obviously, that boost pipe had come off and then it fully slipped off, by the end of it. But yeah, anyway, I hope that gives you a little insight into the temperatures there. The next video will be on the Wiggins connector. And yeah, I'll see you in that episode. Take it easy.